Hey you guys, it's Julie over here at Protocol Sports Systems. Today we are going to be learning about the actual way of doing posterior tilt, working on really effectively using the abdominal area, connecting the deep abdominal core, and really firing off the glutes. Now, a lot of people are really interested in doing those hip thrusts. They really have a lot of times trying to work the glutes. The glutes are very popular right now. What we want to do is we want to do it efficiently. We see a lot of clients here who come in with a lot of back issues and a lot of recurring chronic back problems. One of the things that I found is that a lot of people, when they're doing any type of glute work, they're completely forgetting to use the abdominal area. So we've all heard the buzzword core. We've all heard the buzzword doing deep core work. Majority of people, when they're doing it, are using the upper part of the core or the hip flexors. From the belly button to the pubic bone is usually forgotten about. So today we're going to talk about that. So first and foremost, there are 4 abdominal muscles that we have that we're going to talk about that make up the core. In my opinion, the core actually runs from here to here, front and back. So the shoulder to the upper thigh, front side of your body and the back side of your body. It's basically what's known as the axial part of your skeleton. It's not the arms or the legs, because if you don't have a strong structure in here, you're basically trying to build a mansion of your dreams on a foundation of sand. So in order to really use this part effectively to connect the upper part to the lower part of your body, we're going to focus on these 4 abdominal muscles. The first muscle that we have is the most superficial of the bunch. It's called your rectus abdominis, and that is known as the beach muscles, the six-pack muscles. That's the one that everybody looks at when they're trying to get lean. That's like the focal point. It actually runs from the bottom of your rib cage and your rib margin all the way down to your pubic bone. And it allows you to flex the spine, so it allows you, when you're doing your crunches, to come up. But it really does, and this is really important, it allows the pelvis to move backwards and go into posterior tilt. Now, deep to that, you have the internal and external obliques. They are running side to side, like kind of crisscross pattern, and they come up and work against each other. So when you're working the internal oblique and the external oblique, they work to stabilize and mobilize each other in the same movement. These guys allow us to rotate. They allow us to stabilize if we're holding something heavy on the other side, and laterally flex. Really, really important, because they connect right down to the rectus abdominis and to the other one that's the most important one, the transversus abdominis, which is deep to all of them. Now, the one thing about the transversus abdominis, or the TVA, is that it actually runs across the body and connects all the way around from the front to the back, and it acts as the body's corset or weight belt. So the only way that we can actually contract this is through a forced exhale, because it's here to stabilize and connect the top part of our body to the bottom part of our body. Does that make sense? Okay, so now that we understand the anatomy of it, let's talk about the actual movement. So when most people think of core work, they think of doing crunches, or they think of doing reverse crunches, or they think of doing like hanging crunches. The majority of that will get a lot of your abdominal area, but the majority of times, most people forget from the belly button to the pubic bone. It's often forgotten because we have these 3 big hip flexors that are sitting right here. And if we don't connect this, that directly affects the low back. So today we're going to learn how to do that. All right. So from the rectus abdominis, from the rib margin to the pubic bone, from the rib margin to the belly button, anytime we lift our head up off of anything, anytime we push against gravity, anytime we cough, anytime we sneeze, we're using this. So this guy is pretty taken care of. From the belly button to the pubic bone, this often gets lost. Why? Because we sit a lot, and when we sit a lot, we drop in and we compress in and collapse, and this tends to not get supported. The other thing too is, for women, when we have babies, this gets overstretched, and then we lose the ability to be able to contract this. Also hernias and the like. The majority of time, we are not using this area. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna think about our belly button, and we're gonna take the belly button only because it's the middle and everybody knows where their belly button is. So know where your belly button is. Think about the string going straight through your belly button with a weight on the inside. And I want you to think about pulling your belly button straight down towards your spine. Good. Okay, so what you notice with Miss Sophie, go ahead and relax, is that she actually was able to stabilize her belly button right into her spine. What most people will do is they'll suck it up into their chest and drive all of the air up into their chest like they're holding their breath. So what we want to do is we want to be able to isolate just this area. So take the belly button, pull it down into the spine. Good. So what you're thinking of is a suction cup that comes down and pulls everything in. Now, the one thing about muscles is they always pull, they never push, and they actually contract into one another. So muscles are always doing a pull effect, and the body is actually a pulley system. So every time you are pulling, then the joints that the muscles are attached to will then start to move. Like the bicep attached to the forearm, when the bicep contracts, moves the arm. Same thing with the pelvis. So what we're working with are the hip joints and then the lower lumbar area. So first thing you're gonna do, pull the belly button into the spine. Perfect. Now, this is gonna be a party just for the belly button to the pubic bone. So what you don't want is anything from the belly button up to the rib margin plane or the head, and you don't want the legs to be involved either, okay? So we've gotten step one down. Step two is think about having 2 ropes that attach from your belly button to your pubic bone. And remember, we pull from the muscles. So the belly button comes down to the spine, you have 2 ropes that are attached to the So the belly button comes down to the spine, you have 2 ropes that are attached to the pubic bone. Now those ropes are gonna actually pull down and back. And if you notice, when she pulls down and back, her pelvis actually tips back because the pubic bone is actually part of the pelvis, and that's creating the movement in the spine. Perfect, and relax. So again, we're gonna do this again. Pull the belly button into the spine, take the 2 ropes, and pull the 2 ropes back. Perfect. Okay, so next, the body, go ahead and relax. So if you want to feel what this is supposed to feel like and what the body does naturally, you're going to take a deep breath in through your mouth, around in the circle. It actually works with a forced exhale. So if you want to feel what this is supposed to feel like and what the body does naturally, you're going to take a deep breath in through your mouth, obviously. And then when you blow out, you're going to put your teeth together and you're going to blow out like you're shushing somebody very loud. So you're going to come in, blow out, shh, and let all of the air escape out of your mouth. So go ahead and take a deep breath and blow out. Okay, so what I want to hear is I want to actually hear the shh. I want you to shush me from the other side of the room. So you're going to take a deep breath in and you're going to shush me. Shush, shush, shush. And if you notice, as soon as she does that, all of the body parts start to work because that's your body's natural defense for anything that's going on, is it's trying to contract the body and support it from the upper half to the lower half. Okay? So try that at home. Take a deep breath in. I want you to shush. I want you to hear it like you're shushing your child, your husband, your wife, your neighbor, your dog, whoever you want to shush the heck out of them. Okay? And your body will naturally do that. So once you've got that shush, now you'll feel it should be a really, really deep feeling in here. Got it? Okay. So now that you've gotten this, we're going to move on to the next. So I'm going to have you bend your knees. So now that we have the knees bent, the one thing that people will want to do is they'll want to push from their heels. The reason why we don't push from their heels is because the heels are way farther away from the glutes and the hip than the glutes actually are. So we want to think about the joint that's closest to the muscle that we're trying to affect. The 2 muscles that we're working with are the abdominal muscles, and they're going to turn on the glutes. So when we're doing this posterior tilt, we still have to drive from the abs because the abdominal core is what is supporting the glute structure. They jump in a line with one another, right? They're partners, they're wingmen, they're cohorts, whatever you want to say. They work together. So this doesn't get invited to the party. This doesn't get invited to the party. Exclusive party from the belly button to the pubic bone. That's it, you guys. And if you're doing this, you're actually going to be able to notice if your body parts start working and what's being used more so than the other. This is when parts will start to show up for you. So again, belly button goes into spine. Then you're going to use your ropes and you're going to pull your belly button or your pubic bone towards your belly button. Perfect. Now, if you notice, Sophie's pelvis just rolled along with her because she's doing it from the abs. The abs are driving this motion. And her back will become flush to the table. Go ahead and relax. So now, if I have Sophie just use her legs and press from her heels and push up into a posterior tilt, go ahead and, if you notice, she goes into an arch and she doesn't actually use her abs to do it. And you can actually see the difference in there. Come back down. So now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have Sophie go into a belly button in the spine. Perfect. And now as she rolls up, now her glutes are engaged and her abs are engaged. And you'll notice she comes up in a segment and she's not actually using her legs to do it. So she's actually engaging more of her glutes and her abs and structuring her so she doesn't curve her back. Come on back down. Good. So in order for us to actually keep our back feeling better, we must drive from the abdominal area first. The other thing to watch out for is the fact that we overload our quads more than using our core. So if we're not using our core and we're overloading our quads, then our glutes won't even turn on. So there's a couple of different layers that are going on in here. So you always want to think about the core drives the glutes. Everything is a pulley system, correct? So when you are doing this, I want you to feel belly button goes to spine, ropes come up to pubic bone. You should feel your back getting flush into the floor and the pelvis should roll as it's coming up. And then that'll actually allow your glutes to do the work instead of your legs to do the work. Okay? Come on down. Perfect. I hope that helps. I hope you guys figured this one out. If you guys have any questions, comments, or just want to figure out how to find your glutes and your abs, hey, give me a call, give me a comment, send me a DM, or come on in and we'll do a free assessment for you. I hope this helped. Have a great day, guys. Thanks. Bye.
That was good. Thank you.